Basically, both are from group theory. So let us move to the first question. The first question is actually regarding P groups. That is, we are given a group of order P power n, and where P is a prime number, and we are asked which of the following are the true statements. So the first one is regarding the center of the group. That is, they are saying that center of G has at least 2 elements. It is non-trivial. Then second option is G is always an abelian group. The third option is G has exactly 2 normal subgroups. That means what they argue is it's actually a simple group. And the fourth one is that if H is any group of order P power n, then G is isomorphic to H. That means if you take G as a group of order P power n, and if you take any H of group, any H of order P power n, then they are arguing that both are isomorphic. So let us move on to the solution part. So I am going to give some counter examples and also some small results which will help you to see how we can solve this problem. So the dihedral groups are basically groups of symmetries of regular polygon, and I think you might be familiar with it, and if you're not really familiar with that, I would really suggest you to just have a small look at those groups in some Wikipedia or something, so that you get quite a good idea. But almost everywhere we just start our group theory with the help of these type of groups. So I'm trying to give you a group D4. It's basically on 8 elements, 4 reflections and 4 rotations. The interesting fact is that this will help us to solve one option from this. That is, the dihedral groups where n is greater than or equal to 3 are actually not abelian. So we can see here for n equal to, for when we have when n is equal to 4, the D4 dihedral group is basically has order 2 power 3. So it's also of the form P power some n for some prime number P. So here P is 2. So with this fact, actually we can take out the first option, that so not first option, the second option, that is G is always an abelian group. So we found basically a group of order 2 cube which is not an abelian group. So this second statement stands false. So now let us move on to the next option. So a simple group is actually a non-trivial group whose only normal subgroups are the trivial group and the group itself. So this is actually the definition for a simple group. In the third option, what we are given is that G has exactly 2 normal subgroups. That means they're arguing that G is actually a simple group. So the only normal subgroups a simple group has is the group itself and the group containing the identity. So here also I'm going to use the idea of dihedral groups to give you some idea regarding the third option. The dihedral groups basically are generated by rotations and reflections, and if you see the group presentation, you can see something like this. That is, the group generated by R and F, where Rn is equal to identity, F square is also equal to identity, and Rf whole square is equal to 1. That 1 is identity. So the group generated by such rotations and reflections is actually the way how we do the group presentation for the dihedral group. So in this case, when you take n as odd, the number of normal subgroups of Dn are basically given by the group generated by R power D's for all devices D that divide n. And when you take even n, then there are 2 more normal subgroups apart from this. That is a group generated by these two sets of elements. So here the group generated by R square F and R square and Rf. So this will give us a clear idea, that is because when you take n as even, because you take, just think of this case, that is D4. D4 is having elements of the of order, sorry, the group is of order 2 cube. So it's of this form what they are given, and we are showing in D4, since 4 is even, we can have non-trivial subgroups, non-trivial normal subgroups also. So that gives a clear cut idea to take out the option, that is option 3. So what we have is something like option 3 is wrong. Now to argue the fourth option, argue about the fourth option, I'm going to present you two groups of order 8. In fact, these are the only two groups which are the non-abelian groups of order 8. That is Q8 group, that is the quaternion group, and the dihedral group what we have seen just now. So the quaternion group basically is a group with the operations multiplication, and identity element is 1. It is represented as I square is equal to j square is equal to k square is equal to minus 1 is equal to I j k. The group generated by I, j and k with these properties. So what you can see is that the order of the element in the identity element 1 is 1, that is clear, and the order of this element minus 1 is actually 2, because minus 1 times minus 1 is 1. So the order is basically 2, and I square is minus 1, so I power 4 will be 1, and similarly for j and k. So we'll basically have here one element of order 1, one element of order 2, and the remaining elements will be of order 4. So that is how this structure, how is the structure of Q8, and it has basically 8 elements. Now if you look at D4, you know that you just see the representation here. It will be something like R, the group generated by the elements R and F, where R power 4 will be equal to F square will be equal to 1, and R of whole square will be equal to 1. So there the elements will be of order basically 4 and 2. The rotations will be of order 4, and reflections will be of order 2, and that means we basically have, if you just compare the two groups to argue that they are not isomorphic, I'm just trying to show you the structures are different. That is, if you take the number of elements in Q8 with order 2, it is simply 1, this element, and but if you take any of the reflections in D4, they all have order 4. So we have elements in this, the number of elements in this particular group having order 2 is only 1, but in this D4 we have actually 4 elements of order 2. So that clearly says that these two groups are not isomorphic, and thus we get that option 4 is false, and the only correct option is option 1. So if you would have known the fact that center of a P group is actually non-trivial, you could have answered this question directly. But I am really hopeful that you have gained some knowledge in this question especially regarding the other two groups that we have seen of order 8 and their properties and so on. So now we'll move on to the next question. The next question is based on a question from symmetric group on 5 symbols. We are given that which of the following statements is false. We are asked to find which of the following statements is false. So here S5, first option something like S5 contains a cyclic subgroup of order 6. Second option is S5 contains a non-abelian subgroup of order 8. Third option is S5 does not contain a subgroup isomorphic to Z by 2Z, direct product Z by 2Z. And the fourth option is S5 does not contain a subgroup of order 7. So before going to this problem, I would just like to give you a small revision of what you have already studied. Just 2-3 ideas. That is, if you take Sn, every permutation in Sn basically we can represent in a cyclic form. That is, for example, if you take S5 and you consider this permutation, a function which is like 1 is mapped to 2, 2 is mapped to 1, 3 is to 3, 4 to 4, and 5 to 5. This is basically an element in S5, and this is basically represented by this in the cyclic form like this. That is, when I write 1, 2 in this form, what it means that 1 goes to 2 and 2 goes to 1, and the remaining are mapped to same elements. That is what we mean by writing in this form. And the order of this permutation is basically the length of this cycle. So when you write in cyclic form and just find the length of the cycle, here we have the length is 2. So we have the order of this element is 2. Similarly, if you are going to find the order of this permutation in S5, it is like if you have a permutation represented as a product of disjoint cycles in S5, then you can simply find the LCM of these cycles or order of cycles to get the order of that particular element. So in this case, you will get order of 1 2 and order of 3 4, their LCM. And order of 1 2 is length of this cycle, that is 2. Order of 3 4 is again length of this cycle, 2. So LCM of 2 and 2 will give you 2. So this element basically has order 2 in S5. Now to know about the S5 structure, like what are the possible orders of elements in S5, we have an idea of using the partition of 5 partitions of 5. We can see that we can partition 5 in all these ways. We can write as 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, or 4 plus 1, or 2 plus 3, or 1 plus 1 plus 2, or 1 plus 1 plus 3. And with the help of these, we are going to find the order of the elements. So why this partitioning is helping us, because if you're going to write any element of S5 in cyclic form, the largest length we'll get is basically element of length 5, right? So when you want to write a cycle like in one stretch 1 2 3 4 5, a cycle containing 1 2 3 4 5, you can think of that particular cycle. It's actually of length 5. So but if you are going to write a cycle of this form 1 2 3 4 5, it's also an element in S5. But by our idea of like we already saw how to find the order of this particular element. They are disjoint cycles, so just take the LCM. So 1 2, the order is 2, and this 3 4 5, the order is 3. So LCM will be 2 and 3 will be actually 6. So we get there is an element of order 6. So we are trying to find all such possibilities, how we can split and write, and thus that will actually help us to find out the possible orders. So that's how this is the only possible ways in which we can split and write the cycles. This 2 3 2, this element will contain into all elements which can be written in this form. And if you take 4 1 type, we can expect a cycle in which there are 4 elements in the first cycle part, and second cycle part actually 1. So the LCM will be basically LCM of 4 and 1, that is the length of first cycle and the length of second cycle. So LCM of 4 and 1 will be 4. So we can have elements of order 4 and so on. So this is how we basically build up the possible orders of the elements in S5. So here we found that 1 2 3 4 and 6, these are the possible orders in S5. So the first option here was that S5 contains a cyclic group of order 6, and I would say that this is actually a correct option, because if you just take any element, take just 2 disjoint cycles of this form, then definitely you can say that its order is 6. We saw that, and since order is 6, it will generate a cyclic group of order 6. So and it will be in fact isomorphic to Z6. So the option 1 is basically a true statement. Okay, so now we'll move to the next option. The next option is S5 contains a non-abelian subgroup of order 8, and that is the next option we have to deal with. So just now we have seen the non-abelian groups of order 8 are basically only quaternion group and the dihedral group D4. So here I am going to give you I'm going to show that there is a structure of D4, type of D4 inside S5. So I'm just taking 2 permutations. Here I've taken a permutation for which its order is 4, and the permutation whose order is 2. And if I take, you can see this this cycle power 4 is basically equal to the identity element in the group, and also 1 3, its order is 2. So if I find 1 3 square, that is again going to be entity. And also if I find out 1 3 times 1 2 3 4, if I just operate and find the element and again take the square of the element. Taking the square of the element means operating the element with the same element again. So then you will get again the identity element. So this is basically one structure of D4 which is generated using these 2 elements. So this is how we can show that we have a structure of D4 inside S5, and D4 is actually a non-abelian group of order 8, and so what we get is option 2 is true. So what I've done here is simply I've just tried to take an element of order 4 and an element of order 2 and satisfying this condition also. This and if I could get such elements, I can in fact confirm that there is a D4 structure inside any group. But what is the second condition is, in the previous problem, if you remember, we have given you the representation there. You can see there is an rotation, there is an reflection. Rotation is of order n, reflection is of order 2, and RF, when I operate RF and I again operate RF with again RF, that is I will take RF square, I will get 1. If I could get such two elements, it will generate basically an Dn. So in this case I took something similar. You can see what I have taken is element of order 4, element of order 2, and this 2 order element I have operated with 4 element, and if I operate it, you can try it. If you operate it, you will get basically again an product of 2 disjoint cycles 1, 2 and 3, 4, which is again of order 2, and that means power 2 will be equal to the identity element. So we get a D4 structure inside S5. So the option 2 is basically a true statement. Now regarding the last option, that is the fourth option, I would say it is false. The fourth option is that S5 does not contain a subgroup of order 7. So yeah, that means I would say that it's actually a correct option, but according to the problem it is false. So here I can assure you that S5 does not contain any subgroup of order 7, because if suppose S5 is containing an element of order 7, like sorry, it is like the question was something like it contains subgroup of order 7. If it is containing a subgroup of order 7, so it's a prime order group, so there will be an element order 7 which should divide this 7, because by Cauchy's theorem we know that if there exists an group, a finite group, and if there exists an element of if there exists an prime divisor for that particular order of group, then that group will contain definitely an element of order P. So that idea I'm going to use here. So if there is a subgroup of order 7, obviously there should be an element of order 7 there, but we know that order of the elements will divide the order of the whole group, but our S5 group is basically the number of elements in S5 is actually 5 factorial, so 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, and in fact 7 is not a divisor of that 120. So we can say that there exists no element of order 7, or we can simply say that this fourth option is actually a false statement, right? Yeah, false statement in the sense it is what I meant is for the problem. So if you look at this options now, what we have shown is we shown first that S5 contains a cyclic subgroup of order 6. It is basically a true statement. The second option is something like S5 contains a non-abelian subgroup of order 8. It is also a true statement we have shown. And the fourth option what we have shown now is that S5 does not contain a subgroup of order 7. There is also a true statement, that is S5 will not contain any subgroup of order 7. But there is one more option left out here, the third option, and we are asked basically which of the following statements is false. So let us look at the third option. Let us check whether this is a false statement or it's a true statement. What they are arguing is there does not contain a subgroup of isomorphic to Z2 cross Z2 cross Z2. In fact, let us see that. So if you see the third option, it is nothing but the Kleene-Spock group given to us. Z by 2k, direct product Z by 2k is nothing but isomorphic to Z2, direct product Z2. It is nothing but our Kleene-Spock group, group of order 4. And if you see the representation of that particular group, it is something like this, that is group generated by R and S, where R square and S square is E. Basically RS whole square is also equal to E. So I will just present you some R and S. You choose R to be this element and S to be this element. Both have order 2. So R square and S square both are identity, and if you find RS, that is you just find the combination of that two functions. You're going to get again this cycle, product of two distinct cycles, and this is also of order 2 because order of this element is LCM of order of these two. So LCM of 2 is again 2. So this order is also, its order is also 2. So we could present in fact an cleans 4 group structure inside S5. So what they argued is that it is not possible, but what we have shown is that it is possible. So hence the false statement in this question is basically option 3. So the only correct option here is option 3. That is, this statements what they argued was basically actually a wrong statement. So the answer is actually option 3. I hope guys you really gained some knowledge and some ideas in group theory from this particular video. I would like you to comment if you have any other doubts regarding the statements what I made, and please subscribe my channel for getting further videos of this kind, and please stay home and stay safe. Thank you.